A girl was hiding in the bathtub. A man was urinating right in front of her, and she hoped he wouldn't spot her. But just then, she accidentally passed gas, creating bubbles in the water. The man heard the sound and turned around. However, instead of seeing the girl, he caught sight of his own reflection in the mirror and began admiring himself. He loved his physique and started praising himself. He then turned to leave, but another bubble escaped from the girl. The man didn't notice and walked away. The girl felt relieved that he hadn't come closer to investigate. Once the door closed, the girl quickly climbed out of the tub. She tore her long dress so it wouldn't hinder her escape. She was about to flee through the drain, but a short distance away, she ran into the same man. He grabbed her by the throat and threw her to the ground. She immediately retaliated with a powerful kick, but it had no effect because he was wearing iron armor. He drew his sword and struck at her, but she managed to dodge the blow. The girl kept evading his attacks. The heavy armor began to tire the man out, and he grew irritated by her agility. He grabbed her by the throat and tried to gore her with his horn, but she caught hold of it. She then climbed onto his back and twisted the horn. Dizzy and disoriented, the man stumbled about. When he was exhausted, the girl pulled the horn free, drove it into his back, and knocked him unconscious. She was just about to flee when she heard a commotion below. Looking out the window, she saw the king sitting on the floor with John standing before him. In reality, the girl was the princess of that kingdom, and the king had arranged her marriage to John. It had been promised that John would ascend the throne on their wedding day. However, the princess had refused the marriage because she did not love him. Angered by this, John had staged a rebellion. He took the king's entire family prisoner and, after rendering the princess unconscious, locked her in a tower. The princess regained her memory and resolved to strike back. She quietly entered the room, retrieved the sword she had hidden under the bed, put on her shoes, and headed toward the prison. On the way, she discovered that John was in a nearby room with another woman. She felt relieved that she had refused to marry him. She positioned the tip of her sword just beyond the wall, ready to strike John the moment he came close. However, a soldier entered the room, and her plan was thwarted. The princess realized she needed a different approach. She began making her way out through a dark passage, but at the end of the path stood a soldier clad in heavy iron armor. In her haste, the princess tried to run, but the soldier was alive, and a fight ensued. Her sword had no effect on him because he was completely encased in armor. Then, she devised a plan. She poured oil on him and threw a lit candle. The armored soldier caught fire. Running wildly from the heat, he fell from the tower. His body landed right in front of John, alerting him that the princess had escaped. He ordered his soldiers to capture her. The soldiers began storming the tower. The princess threw her necklace, scattering its pearls across the floor. The soldiers slipped on them, giving the princess a chance to flee. She jumped out the window and slid down using a curtain. She reached a safe room and hid there. Just then, someone entered. She prepared to attack but stopped when she saw her master, the very one who had taught her martial arts. Her master informed her that the king and his family were being held in the main building and that the only way to reach them was through the kitchen, a place where everyone would recognize her. The two of them then made their way to the kitchen. The princess picked up a knife and the guru grabbed a heavy cooking pot. When they were recognized, they began to fight and soon defeated everyone. However, the real danger arose when John's elite soldiers arrived on the scene. The guru picked up a container of oil and threw it into the fire, creating a wall of flames that blocked the path. He told the princess to escape via the route below. Making her way through a drainage channel, the princess reached the main building.